Well, hi again, Eddie G's Music World for May 28th, 2019. I'm going with the unshaven look. I have had like a blister that popped up and I'm trying to camouflage it. I've been besieged with problems like things showing up, getting colds, sick, therapy. It's been crazy times, but I wanted to find time to do this show. So stick with me, people. We're going to discuss a couple of things that have been in the news in Montreal, where I live, and Toronto. And then we're going to get to continuing to look at the current Billboard charts for this week. Two things I wanted to get off my chest. There was a real big story that it's the 50th anniversary of John Lennon's Bed In Montreal, the Peace Nick, and all the Give Peace a Chance, the song that was recorded in Queen Elizabeth Hotel, 1969. I think it was 1969. And they went to the bed and they stayed there and they recorded the hit. Give Peace a Chance was that actual recording in the hotel room. Now the reason I'm talking about it is because I don't know. There's got to be some kind of hypocrisy when you live in a fortress like the Dakota, which I've been to twice, not inside the building, but outside, which is literally royalty lives. I mean, there's a courtyard. It's for the elite. Okay, it's not for a guy working in a grocery store or you know, putting Big Macs together or just even working in a regular job. It's for the elite. Now, I'm not saying he's John Lennon and Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr are not entitled to the money they worked hard to get and the fame they worked hard to get. But when you're talking all caring about everyone, give peace a chance, and all this lovey-dovey stuff, but you live in a mansion like the Dakota must be like. I have never been in the room. I think I've seen a picture of it. You know, if he wanted to be such a nice guy, could have cut a check to all the poor people around his area, gone to charities, and Yoko been living off that money for 39 more years. Yeah, 39 more years. If she gives money, which she might be doing, she's keeping 99% of it, I'm sure, for herself and her entitled son, Sean. And I know that from what I've seen, there's not a lot of money going to the other son, Julian, because, of course, John Lennon always figured maybe distanced himself from, the will didn't seem to include the first son from the other marriage. So I just found the whole thing a little bit hypocritical, the way he conducted himself. And I'm not putting him down as a person, but you could have some massive amount of money going to charities, helping those people. Maybe peace would have better chance if you help people more. Instead, you died. Okay, we understand, not your fault. And I doubt that Cynthia, his first wife, got a dime, and I'm pretty sure his first son got nothing. And all of it's sitting in that 86-year-old lady's bank, Yoko. So I just thought I'd voice my displeasure with the way things worked out in that case. Nothing personal, just I figure he could have been a bill. He could have made the money just like go in a different direction. Next, it's a sports music story that I want to discuss. Now, the NBA championship is starting in 2 days. It's between Toronto Raptors and the Golden State Warriors. Now, the thing I object to is they've got this Drake, which means shit, Drake, who sits around. He's a loudmouth. He screams at people. He makes sure he gets physically within a few feet of the opponent, which is the team that Toronto is playing, in this case, Golden State Warriors, and he gets under their skin. Now, you and I, we cannot start walking up within a few feet of the other team and taunt them. But because he's rich and he has fancy seats, great, he's allowed privileges to unnerve the opponent. So normally I would go for the underdog And technically, the Raptors are the underdog because the Golden State Warriors have won 4 to 5 championship. No, 3 to 4 of the last 4. So they're the kind of so-called favorite. So I should go for the Raptors. But because this Drake, who spent $750,000 in a diamond-crusted Raptors jacket that he bought, is such an obnoxious person, I kind of want to see the Raptors lose. So I'm going against my standard approach to the underdog versus the favorite. Because this guy, he's so obnoxious, he's so annoying, he's so privileged, and I know he's a fan, but other people are fans too, but they don't like the guy who wears the turban is a humongous fan too. But he's a little annoying too. I see him every time Toronto gets a bucket, he hops up and down like a rabbit. He's like stupid looking, but at least he doesn't seem to go walking around strutting in front of the opponents, trying to get under their skin. So he's a little bit less. So I'm a little torn. I don't know what to do. Who do I root for? I'm tempted to root for the Raptors, but because of Drake, I don't want to see that bastard win. And he's going to get that glory that he doesn't deserve just because he's a fan. You didn't do anything. You're just a chubby rapper that everybody seems to go ape shit over like you're some kind of genius. I don't know. 2 or 3 of your songs are okay. I'm not crazy about them, but I think they're good. I mean, there's not really a situation where I'm questioning his ability to be a good talent. But how would he feel if his fans got within 2 feet of his face when he was rapping on a live show and started, you know, flopping an Eminem picture in front of his face just to piss him off, you know? Anyway, that's what I had to say. There were 2 things on my mind. And for those faithful viewers, that was on my mind, and I said it. Now we're going to dip into the top 200 again. Now, since 1 week passed, the top 200 has shifted because every week they produce a new chart. So what was number 170 last week is now not number 170 because they go up, they go down. But it's an overall view of what I feel is out there. It doesn't have to be like frozen from last week to this week. It doesn't matter. I'll just get to the next one. I went to 170 of the top 200 albums. So this is going to be a mix of new and old. For example, number 169 is an album that is probably 26 years old. It's Nirvana's Nevermind, and it's on its way down the chart. But I mean, honestly, it's obviously some retailer like Walmart just threw them on for $5 or something on the next to the cashier, so it seems to be selling. Why people would be all still buying an album from the early '90s is beyond me, but nostalgia, I guess. Next. We'll go to number 168, which is an album moving up, album slash downloadable music, whatever. Trippie Redd. Anybody have any comments about these acts that I don't know? I'm open to listen. Technically, I could look them up myself, but I'd rather have some feedback. If there is somebody watching or listening to the show that can add something, I'd be happy to hear. But I don't know anything about Trippie Redd. Same with Summer Walker. On her way down, Last Day of Summer. She's at number 167. So this is somebody who's, my guess, not a huge act, but their sales are still relevant that they could be added up and appear on this chart. Number 166, Megan Thee Stallion. Still, I'm lost again. The album is called Tina Snow. So the album title sounds like a person, but the person is actually Megan Thee Stallion. I've really lost touch with the current music scene if I haven't heard of so many of these people. Number 165, Joji, Ballads 1. I'm looking at the picture. I can't tell if Joji is a male or a female. Kind of looks like a guy. So I'll go with guy. I don't know. Next is girlfriend beater. Yes, he'll always be remembered as a girlfriend beater. Chris Brown. Heartbreak on a Full Moon. On its way down, descending from the chart. I'm not sure if I can see clearly what position it reached. Peak position number 3. So this was a decent seller. 80 weeks on the chart. So in the case of Chris Brown, all the horrible things that he's been called out on, people saying they were kidnapped, all negative things, he's still a big star. Black Panther, the album. Okay, soundtrack. Didn't see the movie. People freak out over this movie. It's supposed to be unbelievably brilliant, genius movie. I don't know. I'll wait till it comes to the TV. I'll watch it then. But I don't feel like now the white guilt is set in. This is what's going on. The blacks haven't gotten the blacks. I'm not saying in a condescending way, the blacks. How about those of black colored skin have not normally been cast as superheroes. So it's like, let's make up for all the disrespect we gave them in the past by throwing them in. So it's kind of like affirmative action, but for movies. They're trying to say, well, we didn't really give them a fair shake. We cast them as mammies in the 1930s, and they were like, never got a lot. They only got their first Oscar with Denzel Washington like 20 years ago, and what's her name? I forget her name. It doesn't matter. So they try to make up for it and casting blacks people in superhero roles. And everybody says it was a brilliant movie. I don't know. Number 162, Five Finger Death Punch, a metal band I have heard of. I've actually heard some of the music. And good for them. I'm sure Eddie Trunk, who sits and talks about rock music as the only music in his mind that matters. I know he'll never hear this because he's busy and he doesn't care about low-ranking shows. But when you like some music and you not hate, but you ignore so much other music because it's not rock, it's a very twisted way to be a fan of music. But that's what the guy says. That's what the guy does. It's not his thing. So if there was a masterpiece in a different genre, and the whole planet went absolutely mad for this record, he would say, I don't know, it's not rock. So that's all the criteria for liking something or not is whether or not it's rock or heavy metal. If it's not rock or heavy metal, Eddie Trunk, who's on Sirius 106, he doesn't want to know about it. Number 161, speaking of metal, Metallica. This must be one of their early albums. 535 weeks on the chart. They're touring, so I guess it's starting to pick up steam. They're at number 161, moving up. It's been out for years. A year and change has been on the chart. That's insane. AJR, Neo Theater, number 160, on its way down. Don't know AJR. ABBA, what is going on? ABBA's picking up steam. There was some talk about them getting back together. This is, it got to number 25. It's the greatest hits. As everybody knows ABBA, all the hits. But because of a rumor that there was some regrouping and they're going to do shows or records, I guess it's kind of turned into new steam behind the act. So it's a re-entry for them. Shawn Mendes, I think, is a Canadian guy. He's at number 158 on his way down. He's one of these heartthrob types looking guys where the women, the girls swoon over him. He's got a nice voice. He plays guitar. So I have heard a couple of his songs, but I cannot place. I can't think of them because I don't really listen to music that's. Now, I don't want to sound like Eddie Trunk. It's not like I don't want to listen to it. I just don't listen to the channels, so I'm not exposed to it. It's just an omission. It's not like I purposely don't listen to new music. I do occasionally, but not a lot. Kevin Gates, Luca Brasi, 3. Wasn't he a mobster, Luca Brasi? So It sounds like a Godfather name. I'm not quite sure, but I never heard of Kevin Gates. 21 Pilots. I can't figure out this obsession with this group. There's billion views on one of their songs. Like, what was it called? 10, 20 years of something, or I heard it was okay. But the comments about this band, 21 Pilots on YouTube, is like worship, like they're gods. How you don't know the song? They're like, I think I made a comment that I don't know their music that well. Now, how could you not know their music? I'm getting all these YouTube replies. You don't know a band this brilliant as 21 Pilots? And I don't know. I know they're coming to an arena here any day now, and I'm like baffled by all this like craziness over them. I mean, I did hear the song that everybody's freaking out over. It's kind of a good song, but I guess I didn't listen to it more than twice. So good for them. Look, you're a new band. People go crazy over you. I'm glad for you. Various artists now 70. What could this be? You know what? Doesn't say much now. 70. So I'm not going to bother thinking about it too much. The Beach Boys at number 154 on its way up. Sounds of Summer, the best, very best of the Beach Boys. Well, Beach Boys have been around probably as long as I've been around, which is a hell of a long time. And they've been through all the changes and lawsuits and fights, and somehow they still managed to tour. Brian Wilson on his own, the Beach Boys without him, with him, now they're without him. But look, they have great music. It's obviously long-lasting effect on the fans. Trippie Redd, A Love Letter to You 3. Let me see. Did I see a Trippie Redd before? No. Oh, I did. Life's a Trip. So this guy's got 2 records out that are on the top 200. Trippie Redd. I'm going to assume he's a rapper, but I don't know. Brett Young. You see, it's all marketing. I never heard of Trippie Redd or Brett Young, but what do I see? This Trippie Redd looks like a white rapper with red hair. So they're going for a certain look, a style that's obviously working because he's got 2 albums. Then Brett Young, without even listening to one note. I see the album, the way it looks, and what do I see? A guy in like a country type of shirt. So in other words, they're saying, we're going with the typical look of a country singer so that you could tell right away what he does. And of course, it's a massive market. I don't know. Maybe the guy's brilliant. Here we go. I was just talking of Drake, and there he is. Nothing was the same. Number 151 on its way down, but it peaked at number 1. It's been on the charts 285 weeks. It's insane. 52 weeks a year. Almost 3 years. No wonder he's worth $100 million. Number 150. Camila Cabello? Camilla. I don't know what's going on with her. She also got to number 1. A massive success. But how come I don't know? She might be one of these Latin-tinged singers that are out there that seem to be very big now. 70 weeks in the charts, got to number 1. A lot of these massive albums. But remember, number 1 in 1975 meant a million copies, maybe. Number 1 in 2019 could mean 150,000 because of the way people they download it, and the money is less lucrative for the acts, and they don't sell as many copies because people steal it and don't buy it as much. There's no record stores. Okay, here's a throwback. Moving up the charts, the Red Hot Chili Peppers at number 149. Greatest hits. That seems to be the trend, right? Greatest hits. So this is a re-chart. Moving back up. It's gotten as high as number 18. And it's moving back up the charts. Number 148, Sam Smith. Okay, Sam Smith. He's this guy that was very heavy and he lost some weight. Not very heavy, he was overweight a bit. He had a breakup. I mean, it's a whole melodramatic scene with this guy. But he writes from the heart. You have to kind of look at him as a very emotional guy. I know a couple of his songs. He's got that kind of high pitch type of thing. Who's high pitch? He's got the high pitch type of voice. And I don't know what he's going through currently, so I can't comment more than that. Whether he's involved with the guy or not, it's like a soap opera to worry about the status of Sam Smith's love life. But he does have a nice voice. Faruko, number 147. Gangali, the act is Faruko. Got to his number 80, so it's already like slipping to 147, so he's not a big deal. Not currently. Number 146, Back in Black. What is this? 20 million records in the US, I think, or 25. Got as high as number 4. It's 39-year-old album. 39 years old. And people are buying it. It went from last week to 144 down to 146. Now, it could be connected to a tour that they're potentially working on doing. So that could be the reason. Sometimes these things are connected. Or a new album. There's rumors galore that they're coming out with an album. I don't know if I'll see them for a fourth time. I can't handle these sitting around in these arenas and stadiums with pain everywhere in my body, and I can't handle these long concerts. Blake Shelton is next. I look at him as this, he's a judge on The Voice. He met Gwen Stefani, another like overexposed singer from the 90s and 2000s. He just lost his buddy. That's one of the spinners there, the chair spinners, Adam Levine. So he's no longer going to be a judge. I guess maybe he sees that it's overexposure. And to me, the judge shows went out the door about 10 years ago. I barely watched this Voice, maybe 10 times. I used to love American Idol, but I cut that off 10 years ago. They're overdone, these judge shows. They're done. I don't really want to see them anymore, and I will not watch them anymore. And I hated it. When I was even on, I didn't like it. The Beatles, still hanging around. Now, the album's called One. It's at number 144. And where was it? It peaked at number 1, which is not shocking. And it moved up 18 points. So is this one of these things where they're selling it on special, or just Beatle records kick around the charts forever? So, I mean, it's not a shock. Kendrick Lamar, I think he was on Howard Stern. I heard him on the show. I don't know if I liked his music or not. It was kind of one of those things where I just listened, but I wasn't overly into it. Here's this next guy, I think he's a rapper or hip-hopper, Travis Scott. I definitely have heard of this guy. One of these tattoo guides. Yeah, it's at number 142. I bet it peaked at number 1. Yeah, it did. Boy, these records hanging around a long time. Somehow they're selling, or they're legally downloading the album. Good. Number 141, Perception is the record. NF is the act. I have no clue who these people are. And finally, at number 140, Abbey Road. Do I need to say more? We know it peaked at number 1. It amassed like 6 years on the charts. Sold millions. Last Beatle album, or was it Let It Be? I get mixed up. I know that when my sister bought it, she took it home and put it on the turntable, and it had just come out. Yeah, I was impressed. So, but again, impressed by an overplayed band. It wasn't overplayed when I was 10 years old, but at 59, hey, it's overplayed. Well, this ends an exciting Eddie G's Music World show. I listened to 8 minutes of the Grigster the other day, but I had to do a few things and I had to pause his show. I'm going to go back and listen to the Grigster because he's got a great show. If you ever, the number 1 Bad Dude show, look for it on YouTube. always entertaining. He's got fans. Creepy Freak too. I don't listen to him as much because he doesn't come out with a steady flow of shows. But when he does his small shows, like small in time, like 5-6 minute shows, I find them entertaining all the time. So listen to the Creepo Freak too. So thank you all, and Eddie G will be back, and hopefully you will faithfully come join me. Bye bye.